Hi, welcome to the channel English Professionally, and this course is 150 English grammar structures. You know, I think this course is amazing. I think this course is amazing. I prepared it especially for you. I prepared it especially for you. There are 150 English grammar structures. Just imagine it. There are 150 English grammar structures in this course. Just imagine it. I'm sure it can help you improve your English grammar greatly. I'm sure it can help you improve your English grammar greatly. So first, you'll see quite simple grammar structures. Quite simple grammar structures. And then there will be more difficult grammar structures, or there will be more difficult ones, and then there will be more difficult ones. Enjoy it. I really hope you like this course. And if you like the idea of this video please put a like. Okay, thanks a lot for your support. Thanks a lot for your support. Thanks a lot for your support. Okay, really. So I think this course is amazing. I prepared it especially for you. There are 150 English grammar structures in this course. Just imagine, okay? So I'm sure it can help you improve your English grammar greatly. First, you'll see quite simple grammar structures, and then there will be more difficult ones. Enjoy it. I really hope you like this course. Thanks a lot for your support. Okay, so the first grammar structure, I want. Okay, so some theory. So let's look at some theory for a start. Let's look at some theory or some rules for a start. For a start means in the beginning. Okay? So you say want something. For example, I want this thing. I want this present. Or you say want to do something. Please don't forget to use to. Okay? Don't forget to use to. So many students make this mistake. They forget it. Okay, so I want to do it. So there are two verbs, and you need to put to between these two verbs. So please use to after want. For example, I want to do it. I want to buy this house. I want to call her. I want to learn English. I want to learn English, for example, fast. Or you can say, I want to speak English. I want to speak English very well. But you know, there is a good phrase. I want to speak English fluently. It means very well, without any problems. Okay, so really, let's look at some theory, rules for a start in the beginning. Want something. We say we want something. For example, I want this thing. I want this present. And want to do something. Don't forget to use to. For example, I want to do it. I want to buy this house. I want to call her. I want to learn English fast. I want to speak English fluently. Okay, so the next structure, I think. We often use it in spoken English. We often use it in spoken English. And you know that you can use all the structure in spoken English, so in formal English, in informal English, all these structures are very useful. Yeah, and let's look at some examples. I think you are right. I think this lesson is very interesting and useful at the same time. I think I'll learn English soon. I think this variant is very good. So you can often hear this, structure, this phrase in different conversations. Okay, next, I like. So you need to remember that we say I like something. For example, I like this video. You can say it, you can write it in the comments, okay? So, I like this video. I like your English lessons. I like playing tennis. Yeah. So, I think that you have a question. Why do we say I like playing tennis, but not I like play tennis? Okay, I like something. And if there is a verb, and you really like it, we say like doing something. We say like doing something. For example, I like playing tennis. So we add ing. I like play tennis. It's a rule. Next, let's look at more examples. I like traveling. I like getting up early. But you know, sometimes you can hear like to do. What is the difference between like doing and like to do? So if you hear like doing, as we said, you really like it. Okay? So I hope that's clear. You really like it. If you say like to do, it's a habit. It doesn't mean that you really like it. Okay, so I like getting up early. Compare I like getting up early. It means that you really like it, so you like it so much. And I like to get up early. It means that, okay, so it's a habit, you do it and it's okay for you. But you know, in most cases, we use like doing something because you really like it. Okay, so I like doing it and I like to do it. So you can meet both these structures But when talking about our hobbies, we often meet like doing. So, yeah, be ready for it. Okay, so I like something. I like this video. I like your English lessons. If there is a verb and you really like it, we say like doing something. I like playing tennis. Yes, don't forget to add ing. I like traveling. So once again, don't forget to add ing. Like doing, you really like it, and like to do. It's a habit. Okay, I like getting up early and I like to get up early. So you can meet both variants. I like doing it and I like to do it. Okay, so next, I don't like. So we often meet this structure, I don't like doing it, or I don't like doing something. I don't like doing something, and you can hear, for example, I don't like doing it. It means that it isn't interesting, so maybe it's very boring or uninteresting. I don't need it. Okay, more examples. I don't like doing nothing. I don't like doing nothing. Or you can say that maybe it's better to say I don't like wasting time. So waste time, when you have free time, but you do some stupid things and it's really terrible. So time passes, but you don't do anything good. Okay, so I don't like, so you don't do something good. Okay, next, so I don't like talking to him. Again, don't like doing. Okay, so I think it's a very good structure. Next, I love and I enjoy. So we say love or enjoy. We say love or enjoy something. Yeah, but if there is a verb, you say love or enjoy. Love or enjoy doing something. Love or enjoy doing something. So I love doing it. I love doing it. So it has a stronger meaning. So you can say, yeah, I like doing it. I like doing it. But you know that love is stronger. It sounds stronger, and we often hear I love doing it. So it means you really like it. You really like it. Okay. So I love singing. Or what things do you like doing? Yeah. Or you can say that I like it, I really like it, or I love it, I love doing it. So you can say I enjoy English, or maybe you want to say I enjoy speaking English. I enjoy speaking English. So why speaking? Why do we use ing? Because it's a rule, and that's why it's so important to study these English grammar structures. Love or enjoy doing something. I enjoy speaking English. As for me, I enjoy speaking English and I enjoy teaching English. And I enjoy spending time with my friends. And I hope you also like it. Okay, next. So if you don't like it, you can say I hate. So we say I hate doing something. Here, please remember this structure. Hate doing something. Hate doing something. I hate doing it. I hate going there. I hate this kind of music. Yes, hate something, or hate doing something. Don't forget to use ing. Okay, I would like. We often use a short form. It's I'd like. It means I want. But it sounds more, polite. It means I want. But it sounds more polite. And we often meet this structure. For example, I'd like a cup of tea. It means I would like a cup of tea. But native speakers mostly say I'd like. Okay, I'd like a cup of coffee. I'd like to do it. I'd like to order it. Or for example, I'd like to thank you. I'd like to thank you. I'd like to thank you. Okay, no problem. Okay, so what is next? So we can use it in questions and we ask, would you like something? Would you like something? So the structure is the following. The structure is the following. Okay? The structure is the following. It means that we have the following structure. Would you like something? We have it in questions. Or would you like? If there is a verb, you ask, would you like to do something? Would you like to do something? Okay? For example, would you like it? Would you like it? Would you like it? Would you like a cup of tea? Would you like a cup of coffee? Or would you like to order it? Would you like to order it? For example, you want to buy a dress and first, I think that you need to try it on. Would you like to try it on? Would you like to try it on? A shop assistant can ask you, would you like to try it on? Would you like to try it on? Okay? Next. So, I have. So, you know that we often hear it. For example, I have a big house. I have a big house. And we use, when do we use I have? I have, we have, you have, they have. So you can say I have a big house, we have a big house, you have a big house, they have a big house. Okay, we have other examples. I have a family, I have a car. But if, he, she, it, if we have he, she, it, we say has. He has, she has, it has. For example, he has a brother. She has lots of friends. Okay, next. Do it. It's imperative form. It's imperative form. So do it. Listen to me. Come to me. Call her. So you put a verb at the beginning of the sentence. You put a verb at the beginning. You put a verb at the beginning of the sentence. You put a verb at the beginning of the sentence. So do it, listen to me, come to me, call her. So if you want to say a negative form, so if you want, or if you need a negative form, you start with don't. You start with don't. So you must remember it. Don't plus verb. Don't plus verb. Don't plus verb. For example, don't do it. Go there. Don't go there. So go there. So you put a verb. If you need an imperative form, if you want, a negative, if you want to say it, in a negative way, you use don't. Don't go there. Don't do it. Okay? So next, let's. We say let's plus verb. Let's plus verb. For example, let's do it. Let's do it. So you offer to do it. You offer to do it. You offer to do it. So you offer to do it. You think it's a good idea. You think it's a good idea. You think it's a good idea. You offer to do it. You think it's a good idea. Yeah, you think it's a good idea. For example, let's do it, let's go there. So let's learn English on this channel. Let's learn English. Let's learn English on this channel. Let's learn English on this channel. Let's learn English very intensively. I think it's a good idea. I think it's a good idea. Okay, now let's do something. Okay, so let's do it. Well, so to, you know, many students have this question: when do we use to? We often use it with the verb go. Go to some place. Go to some place. Yes, go to some place. It can be go to the cinema, go to school, go to work. So really, you see, I went to the cinema, I went to school, I went to work. You just need to remember these phrases. Yeah, but you know that we often use to between two verbs. So we often use to between two verbs. Between two verbs. You know, like here. Like here. So you see, I do it. Yeah, let's, you know, just, it's we have three citations. So for example, I want to do it. 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 He told me. He told me. He told me to go there. He told me to go there. Two verbs. He told me to go there. And you know that we have one more situation. We have one more situation. It's the third situation. For example, I do it to improve my English. So we can't say it without to. We can't say it without to improve my English. So, you know, it's very important. I do it to make my English better. So we call it infinitive. 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 It's a very important thing. Yeah, here, you know, we have it. We have an infinitive to. Yeah, we have an infinitive here too, but there are two verbs. Here there is just one verb, but it's an infinitive, and so with an infinitive we use it with an infinitive. I do it to improve my English. I do it to make my English. I do it to make my English better. Okay, next. So don't and doesn't. You know that there is one tense, present simple, it's the main tense. So if we want to form a statement, if we want to form a statement, we say subject, subject plus verb. For example, I, it's a subject and verb like, I like it, I like it. So, you know that if there is a negative form, you use don't or doesn't. If there is a negative form, you need don't or doesn't. You need don't or doesn't. Okay, so when do we use don't? With I, we, you, they. For example, I don't like it. We don't like it. You don't like it. They don't like it. We don't go there. You don't know it. They don't understand us. With he, you know that if we have he, she, it, we use doesn't. So you need to remember it. So he doesn't work there. She doesn't love him. It doesn't happen. Okay, do, does. We use it in questions. We use do with we, you, they, I. For example, do we work hard? Do you work hard? Do they work hard? Do I work hard? So we have other examples. Do we speak English well? Do you know the answer? Do they live there? Do I study well? If we have he, she, it, we use does in questions. Does he work hard? Does she work hard? Does it work hard? Does he agree with you? Does she like him? Does it work? Okay? Next. Sometimes you can meet am, is, or are. So if there is a rule, if there is no verb, and if there is no verb, so what is a verb like do, make, have, and so on, etc. and so on, you need to use the form of to be. You need to use the form of the verb. You need to use the form of the verb to be. The form of the verb to be. Am. We say I am. So you need to remember this form. I am. I am happy. I am here. I am at home. We can also use a short form. We can also use a short. We can also use a short form. I'm. It's a short form. I'm an English teacher. I'm in America now. Okay. If you have he, she, it, you use is. For example, he is at home, she is at home, it is at home. So we don't have a verb in these sentences. So it's present simple, and you don't have a verb, and you don't have a verb. It's present simple and you don't have a verb. So you see, we don't see a verb. He is at home, and you need to use is, because he is at home. He is very clever, or you can use a short form. He is very clever. She is very beautiful, or she is very beautiful. It is interesting, or it's interesting. Okay? So next, are. So we have the same situation with are. We have the same situation. We have the same situation here. You need to remember that we use are with we, you, they. Look, we are at work. You are at work. They are at work. We are happy. Or you know that we can use a short form. We are happy. You are very talented. You are very talented. They are in the park. They are in the park. Next, how to form a negative form. Yeah, how to form a negative form. Really, how to form a negative form. So it's simple. Am not or am not. Look, I am not. So it's a full form. Or you can use a short form. I'm not. It's a short form. Okay, so I am at home. So it's a statement, it's a statement, it's a statement, it's a statement, okay? And we see a negative form. I am not at home. You add at. Really, you say not after am plus not. Or you can meet a short form. I'm not at home. I'm not at work. I'm not with her now. Okay? Okay, if we have, okay, are, so very good. Not, yeah, it's here. Is. So the same thing. Is not. Please remember that we use is not or isn't after he, she, it. Look, he is not at work. She is not at work. It is not at work. He isn't happy. She isn't successful. It isn't boring. It isn't boring. Okay, so and are not and aren't. So it's a negative form. We use are not or aren't after we, you, they. So we are not in the park. You are not in the park. They are not in the park. Or shortly, we aren't in the park. You aren't in the park. They aren't in the park. More examples. We aren't at school. You aren't lazy. They aren't very clever. They aren't very clever. So how to form a question? How to form a question? Use am in the beginning if you have I. So am I? Am I? Am I? So you put it in the beginning. Am I a good student? Am I a good teacher? Am I the best player? Am I the best player? Okay? So if you have he, she, it, he, she, it, you use is. Is he, is she, is it? Okay, so is he a good student? Is she at home? Is it interesting? If you have we, you, they, you put are in the beginning. You put are in the beginning. Are we happy? Are you at home? Are they in the office? Okay, so we talked about present simple. Let's talk about future simple. Okay? Really, we talked about present simple. We talked about present simple. Let's talk about future simple. Let's talk about future simple. Future simple. We use this tense talking about future. We use this tense. We use this tense talking about future. Talking about future. Okay, so and we use will. We use will. So we use will plus verb. Will plus verb. Will plus verb. For example, I will do it. I will do it. We will call her. Yeah, or we can use a short form. So double L, you see double L plus verb, but we pronounce it another way. So please look, I will do it or I'll do it. So we often hear a short form. We will call her or we'll call her, we'll call her. You will go there, you'll go there. they will help us, or they'll help us. So we use will after I, we, you, they, he, she, it. So we always use will. And after he, she, it too. So I like this tense because it's very simple. He will support us, or he'll support us. She will marry him, or she'll marry him. It will happen, or it'll happen. Okay, so this tense is very simple. How to form a negative sentence? So we say will not, it's a full form, or won't if you want to use a short form. For example, I will not go there. So you use it before a verb. So will not plus verb, or won't plus verb. I will not go there, or I won't go there. I won't go there. He will not study there, or he won't study there. She will not go to Spain, or she won't go to Spain. So many students have this question. So we don't understand. So what we hear, want or won't? Look, I want to do it. Want plus verb. It means that you will not do it. You will not do it. It's a negative form. If you want to use want, you must use to after want. So you use to between these two verbs. I want to do it. Really, that after, you know that you use to after want, if it's your desire, if it's your wish. If it's a negative sentence, you use want plus verb without to. So that's the difference. Okay, next. Okay, what about the past? What about the past? Really, let's have a look at past simple. Okay? So, what about the past? What about the past? Let's have a look. Let's have a look at past simple. Let's have a look at past simple. Okay? So, you use, if you want to say something in past simple, you use the second form. So it's the second form. So you need to know three forms. For example, do, did, done. Do, did, done. Okay? Make, made, made. Make, made, made. So if you need past simple, you use the second form. So for example, did and made. Okay, so if it's an irregular verb, you need to learn it. Let's write it. So if it's an irregular verb, you need to learn it. If it's an irregular verb, you need to learn it. Okay? Like here, do, did, done, make, made, made. So you need to learn it. So you need to remember it. You need to learn it by heart. By heart, it means you need to remember it. So if it's a regular verb, so it has ed. It has ed in the second and third forms. In the second and third forms. and third forms. So this information is very important, really. This information is very important. Third forms. For example, work. Yes? Work. So this verb is regular. This verb is regular. And you add ed. And you add ed. Yeah, in the second form. So it has ed in the second form. And it has ed in the third form. So look, work, worked, worked. So the most difficult thing is, is irregular verbs. Look, I worked. So it's a regular verb and it has ed, but I went there. So it's the second form. So the verb go, 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 went, gone. So you need to use the second form, I went there. If you want to use a negative form, use didn't plus verb. Didn't plus verb. Look, I didn't work, I didn't go there, and it doesn't matter this verb is regular, and it doesn't matter this verb is regular or irregular. Didn't plus verb. Yeah, it's a rule. I didn't go there. He didn't make a decision yesterday. He didn't make a decision yesterday. Okay, what about questions? So if we look at past simple, we use did in questions and we use it in the beginning. For example, did you go there? Did she come? Did it happen? Did you do it? Did you do it? Next. So maybe you have a question that, okay, so will. So let's talk about future simple. Let's talk about future simple. We studied that we use will or will not. We use will or will not. Or we can also meet short forms, so double L and won't and won't. Sometimes you can meet shall. Shall, so when do we use shall and its negative form, shall not or shan't. Sometimes you can see that we use shall with I and we. Look, I will do it. It's a full form, or I'll do it. Or you can see I shall do it. I shall do it. Okay? Negative form, I shall not do it or I shan't do it. So here is the same. We will do it. It's a full form. Or there is a short form, will do it. But you can sometimes meet it with shall. So, we sometimes meet it, but not often. It is said, people say that it sounds more formal. We shall do it. We shall not do it. We shan't do it. We shan't do it. It's formal. And sometimes we use shall for permission. For permission. For permission. It means can. It means can, but more formal. Shall I do it? Shall I call her? Shall I call her? Shall I do it? Shall I call her? Okay, next, there are. So very good structures. If you want to say that maybe there is a cup on the table, so maybe you can hear it, there is a cup on the table, it means that this cup is on the table. This cup is on the table. This cup is on the table. So just this structure. There is a. If it's one. There is a cup on the table. This cup is on the table. There is a wallet in this room. It means that the wallet is in this room. Or if it's more than one. If it's more than one, if it's more than one, you use the ra. You use the ra. There are 2 chairs in this room. There are 3 mistakes in his work. There are 3 mistakes in his work. Okay? Good. So it's present simple. It's present simple. You can use the same structure in past simple, and it will be there was and there were. There was and there were. So if it's one, it's there was a strange man. There was a mistake. So if it's more than one, you say there were. There were 3 men. There were too many people. There were too many people. Okay, maybe you want to say it talking about the future. No problem. So you can say it in future simple too, and you'll say there will be my best friend. It means my best friend will be there. My best friend will be there. There will be my teachers. It means my teachers will be there. There will be my classmates. There will be my classmates. Okay, next. So the next structure, this is and these are. So if you see something and you point at it, so you often use this structure. If you see something and you point at it, you often use this structure. This is. So this is a, or this is an. This is a or this is an. This is a computer. This is an apple. Because this is an apple. If it's more than one, you use these are. These are geese. So it's many, maybe 2, maybe 3, who knows. This is a goose. These are pigs. These are elephants. Okay, so next. You know that there is one very good structure, be going to. We use it talking about the future. We use it talking about our plans. We use it, right? Talking about our plans. For example, I'm going to do it. It means that it's in my plans. It's in my plans. You can also say, I am planning to do it. You just need, to use am, is, or are. So the form of to be, am, is, or are, and then you say going to. You can also use a short form, no problem. If you do it, you'll sound very natural. So it's okay. Going to. So you see, I'm going to do it. It's in my plans, or I'm planning to do it. I'm going to improve my English. Why not? He is going to come to us. So it's in his plans. They're going to visit Italy. Okay. And you can also use the structure in past simple. So was or were plus going to. So you know that you use was after I, he, she, it. And you use were after we, you, they. You use were. Okay, so I was going to call him because we have I was going to call him. It means that it was in his plans. It was in his plans. Or I was planning to do it. I was planning. It was in my plans. Yeah, it was in my plans. Sorry. Or I was planning. Or I was planning to do it. I was planning to do it. We were going to visit her. It was in our plans. And one more example. I was going to find a new job. It was in my plans. Okay, next. So let's talk about if and when. We often use it. So there is one important rule. So if you talk about future, if you talk about future and you use future simple, if you talk about future simple, you must use present simple. You must use present simple after if and when. After if and when. Look, if it happens, I'll do it. So many students want to say if it will happen, but it isn't right. So yes, the second part of the sentence is about future, and this part of the sentence is about future, but you must use present simple after if and when. It's a rule. Please remember it. If it happens, I'll do it. If you help me, I'll be very glad. Okay, next. So when she comes back, we'll start watching that movie. When you decide to do it, please tell me. So the same situation. It's about the future, but you use present simple after if and when. Next, modal verbs. Modal verbs. Modal verbs. Must or mustn't plus verb. You must do it. So we can say do it, or you must do it. So it sounds very strong. It sounds very strong. So you don't use to. You don't use to. Must or mustn't plus verb. You must do it or do it. You must listen to me. You must follow the rules. You mustn't do it. You mustn't leave this place. Okay, can or can't plus verb. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. It means that it's possible for me to do it. It's possible. It's possible for me. It's possible for me to do it. It's possible for me to do it. Next. I can help you. I can drive a car, or can't plus verb. I can't do it at the moment. I'll do it later. They can't help us. They can't help us. So if you want to ask a question, you start with can. Can you? For example, can you help me? Can you do it for me? Can you go with us? Can he swim? Can he swim? Can she do it? Can she do it? So we always use can. Okay, next. Could and couldn't. So you know the meaning of can. I can do it, and we use it in present simple. It means that it's possible for me to do it. If you want to say it in the past, you use could. I could do it. I could do it. So it's the past form of can. Can for present and could for past. Yeah. For example, I could study English every day, so it's about the past. So it was possible for you, it was possible for you, we couldn't help him. Yeah, but you know that this modal verb, it has the second meaning. Look, I could help you. It means I can help you. It means I can help you, but it sounds more polite. It means I can. It means can, so could means can, but it sounds more polite. But it sounds more polite. But it sounds more polite. Okay? So it's about probability. Say it possibility. It's possible. Look, he could come here. It means, yeah, I could help you. And let's look at these examples. Can you help me? Can you help me? Can you help me? Can you help me? And could you help me? And could you help me? We can add please. Could you help me please? It's a very polite way of asking questions. And he could come here. It means that it's possible for him. Yeah, he could come here. And really the next structure is could you. It's a very polite way of asking something. It's a very polite. It's a very polite way. It's a very polite way of asking, you know, of asking something. Can you help me? Or could you help me please? It's really so polite. Could you bring me a glass of juice? And you can also add please. Could you bring me a glass of juice, please? Next, need. So you know that you say need something. For example, I need it. I need your help. I need your help. And if there is a verb, you say need to do. Please remember it. I need to do it. I need to go out. I need this money. I need your help, or maybe I need your advice. I need this result. But if there is a verb, you say need to. I need to do it. I need to, for example, to learn all these grammar structures. I need to learn all these grammar structures. I need to learn all these grammar structures. Okay, so next, should or ought to. Look, compare. You should do it. It means it's a good idea. So it's some advice. I give some advice. It's good for you. You should do it, and you must do it. You know, it sounds. It can sound a bit rude. It can sound a bit rude. It can sound a bit rude. It isn't so polite. It isn't so polite. It isn't so polite. Okay, so look. You should be in a better shape. Okay, so it means it's a good idea. It's a good idea for you to do some exercises. So it's good for you. You should lose weight. So it's a good idea. I think it's a good idea, and I say so. Or sometimes we can meet ought to. It's more formal. You ought to follow her advice. So you should or ought to. But ought to is more formal. You ought to follow her advice. Okay, so next. May or might. I will do it, so it's future simple. Okay, and you can hear I may do it or I might do it. It means maybe. It means maybe I'll do it. She may come or she might come. Maybe she will come. Maybe she will come. He may agree or he might agree with you, so it's the same thing. Maybe he will agree with you. Okay, so next, be allowed to. So we can use it in present simple. Am, is, are allowed to. Look, he isn't allowed to leave home. It means that other people or someone doesn't let him leave home. Doesn't let him leave home. He can't do it. He can't do it because of someone. He can't do it because he can't do it because of someone. He can't do it because of someone. He can't do it because of someone. Okay, I'm not allowed to play computer games all day. So I can't do it because of someone. And we can use it in the past simple, was, were, and then we, add allowed to. For example, I wasn't allowed to talk to him. It means that I couldn't do it because of someone. Next, comparative form. Comparative forms. Comparative forms. Oh no, it isn't comparative forms. It's I looked at another slide. So have to, don't have to, and doesn't have to. Look, have to means must. Look, I have to get up very early, or I must get up very early. I have to go to work almost every day, or I must go to work every day. But have to, so you need to do it, you need to do it, you need to do it. But maybe you don't want it. But maybe you don't want it. But maybe you don't want it. You can't change it. You can't change it. You can't change it. Look. But maybe you can't change it. Look, I have to get up very early. So you must do it, but maybe you don't want. Maybe you don't want to get up very early, but you must do it because of something or because of something. So I have to go to work almost every day. Maybe you don't want to go to work, but you have no choice. You have no choice and you do it. So use have to. He has to wear school uniform. So, maybe he doesn't want it, but he has no choice. He must do it. So he has to wear school uniform. Okay, sometimes we can meet don't have to. Don't have to has another meaning. It has another meaning. I don't have to get up early. It means that I don't need. Don't have to means don't need to. Don't have to means don't need to. Don't need to. Okay, so you see, I don't have to get up early. I start working late. It means that you start working late, and why do you need to get up early? You can sleep more. Okay, let's look at the next example. She doesn't have to work. She is very rich. Really, she's very rich. She has lots of money. Why does she need to work? And you can say she doesn't have to work or she doesn't need to work. She is very rich. Yeah, and next, yeah. So comparative forms. Comparative forms. So we often hear more than, or we add er than. Look, this book is more interesting than that one is more interesting. So this book is more interesting than that one. Please remember this structure. More plus adjective. More plus adjective. More plus adjective. And we often use it, we often use more before long adjective. Before long adjectives. Before long adjectives. Look, The book is more interesting. So interesting is a long adjective. It has more for more than two syllables. For more than two syllables. For example, long, it's one syllable. Long is one syllable. It has interesting. It has more than two syllables. So more interesting than that one. Look, this video lesson is more informative than that one. So informative is a long adjective and you use more informative than the last one. Okay? Yeah, long, it's a short adjective and you often use this thing. So adjective plus er, usually it's a short adjectives. Short adjectives. Look, this video is longer. Long plus er. This video is longer than that one. Next, your room is bigger than hers. Your room is bigger than. Your room is bigger than hers. Okay. And superlative form. Superlative form. The most or the and then est. And this is the same thing. So if you have a long adjective, it's the most. So long adjective. So usually we use this rule, long adjective. And if it's a short adjective, use the and est at the end of the sentence. Short adjective. Okay, so look, it's the most beautiful place. It's the most beautiful place. It's the longest river. It's the longest river in the world. It's the longest river in the world. The longest. So look, this adjective is long, so the most beautiful place in the world. This adjective is short, so the longest river in the world. But as you know, there are some exceptions. Yes, exceptions. You must remember, for example, these exceptions: good, better, the best. Some people think that he is the best teacher. Bad, worse, the worst. It was the worst example. It was the worst example. Okay, let's look at the next structure. The more. The more you study, the more progress you make. It means if you study more, you make more progress. You make more progress. The more you study, the more progress you make. If you study more, you make more progress. Next, the more you train, the better it is for you. It means if you train more, it's better for you. It's better for you. If you train more, it's better for you. Okay, next. In order to or so that. Look, I study English to understand native speakers. So it means that you can also say it this way. I study English because I want to understand. Because I want to understand native speakers. You can also use in order to. It means to, but it's more formal. Yes, this structure is more formal. I study English in order to understand native speakers. Or you can also use so that. I study English so that native speakers understand me. It also means, so I study English. So what does it mean? I study English. I study English. I study English because I want native speakers, to understand me, because I want native speakers to understand me, understand me. Okay, so look, I study English so that native speakers understand me. I study English because I want native speakers to understand me. But you know, when do we use in order to and when do we use so that? In order to, so we use it if there is one subject. Look, one subject. This information is very important. One subject. It's one subject. I study English in order to understand native speakers. And we use so that if there are two subjects. Look, it's the first subject. I study English so that, this structure, so that, and native speakers, it's the second subject, so that native speakers understand me. So I study English because I want native speakers to understand me. And one more example. So I think that we have space for it. So I study English so that I understand native speakers. But usually, if it's one subject, we use I study English to understand native speakers. Or if there are two subjects, you say so that. I study English so that they understand me. Okay, next. As. This lesson is as interesting as that one. It means that both these lessons, these lessons are very interesting. Are interesting in the same way or at the same level. Interesting in the same way or at the same level. Look, this example is as good as the last one. It means that both these examples are good, and they are equally good. So they are equally interesting. They are equally interesting. They are equally good. It's one level. They have the same level. This example is as good as the last one, as. Okay, next. So and such. It's so interesting. It's so interesting. And you know that this structure so plus adjective. Yeah. So plus adjective. You don't have a noun. If you have, it's so interesting. If you have a noun, you use such. If you have a noun, you use such. Look, and the structure is such a or an plus adjective plus noun. Look. Okay, so it's such an interesting book. You have a noun, so such an interesting book. It's so beautiful. You don't have a noun. So beautiful. And you have a noun, place, so it's such a beautiful place. Okay, next, much and many. So he doesn't have much money. He doesn't have much energy. So you use much. Much with uncountable. 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 You can't count it. You can't count it. He doesn't have much energy. He doesn't have much money, but money is uncountable in English. He doesn't have much enthusiasm. 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 Okay. And use many with countable. And use many with countable. You can count it. You can count it. 1, 2, 3, and so on. You can count it. Okay? So, look at these examples with look at these examples. So I don't have many English books. I don't have many English books. I don't have many friends. I don't have many friends. So we can count it 1, 2, 3 books, 1, 2, 3 friends, and we use many. Okay, a little and a little. Okay, so he has little money. I can speak English a little. I can speak English a little. It means a bit. A bit. So we use little before uncountable. Uncountable. Look, little money, little energy, and we can use a little. It means a bit. I can speak English a bit. We have little free time, so time is uncountable, and you use little free time. We don't have enough free time. We don't have enough free time. It means we don't have enough free time. Okay, next, few and a few. He has few friends. It means not many, not many, not many. So little is with uncountable and few with countable. It means not many, not many. And he has a few friends. He has a few friends. So few or a few, it means not many, not many. But you know that when you hear a few, it means some friends, and few friends, it means little. Little, it usually has a negative meaning. A negative meaning. Meaning. Little, not enough. Not enough. Not enough. A negative meaning. And he has a few friends. Not many, but some. But it isn't about a negative meaning. So just some. Okay, next. A lot of and lots of. So you know that we have much and many. Much with uncountable, much water, and many with countable. Many English videos. And you can use a lot of. A lot of. So much, it's, you know, much water, uncountable, and many with countable. And you can use a lot of or lots of. It's the same, but lots of, it's more informal. It's more informal. You can use it. You can use it with countable and uncountable. Countable and uncountable. With countable and uncountable, you use a lot of. You use a lot of. With countable and uncountable, we have lots of friends, or we have a lot of friends. Okay, so they have lots of energy, or they have a lot of energy. He doesn't have much money. He has lots of money. Or there is a phrase, he has plenty of money. It's another phrase, actually, for saying the same thing. Okay, next. So too much, too many, and enough. He speaks too much. You can say very much, but too much, it has a negative meaning. It has a negative meaning. You can say a lot, but maybe if you say he speaks a lot, you can say he speaks a lot. He speaks a lot. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad, but too much, it has a negative meaning. too much and too many, these structures have a negative meaning. He spends too much time on computer games, so it's bad. She makes too many mistakes, it's bad. I have enough free time. I'm very busy. I don't have enough free time. Next, isn't it? We know that we use it at the end of the sentence. We use it at the end of the sentence. It means really. It means really. It means really. Or yes. It means really. Or yes. Yes. Okay, so look. It is interesting, isn't it? Or it is interesting, really? It is interesting, yes? Or it is interesting, isn't it? It is a good video, yes, really? Or isn't it? The lesson is very informative, isn't it? So it is and isn't it? It is and isn't it? The lesson, it means it. So you also ask, isn't it? Isn't it? Okay, feel like. Feel like means want. Remember this phrase, feel like doing something. Feel like doing something means want to do something. Want to do something. I feel like going to the party. I want to go to the party. I feel like drinking a cup of coffee. I want to drink a cup of coffee. Next, let's talk about present continuous. Present continuous. We use it for things which are happening now. We use it for things which are happening now. Which are happening now. And you have to look at the structure. Is, are, or am plus doing. He, she, it is. We, you, they are. And I am. Look, I am recording this video now. It is happening now. So you can say it with now or without now. If you don't say now, it's clear that it's happening now. It's clear too, because it's present continuous. It's for things which are happening now. I'm recording this video now. Look, we are watching this video. We are watch plus ing. You are making progress. You are make plus ing. You are making progress. They are listening to me. They are verb plus ing. He is working now. She is walking in the park. It is happening now. It is happening now. Okay, next. Have, has, done. So we use it for present perfect. So there are some time markers which you need to remember. There are some time markers which you need to remember. There are some time markers which you need to remember, and we use present perfect with these markers. We use present perfect with these markers, or with these time expressions. Okay, with these time markers or these time expressions. For example, just, already, yet, and ever. And the structure of present perfect have, has plus done. I have just done it. It means not a long time ago. Not a long time ago. Not a long time ago. I have just done it. Okay, I have already seen it. It means that I saw it earlier. I saw it earlier. She hasn't come back yet. She hasn't come back yet. We put it at the beginning of the sentence. She hasn't come back yet. And ever, we use it in questions. Have you ever been there? Have you ever been there? Okay, next, past continuous. Was, were plus verb plus ing. Was, were doing. We often use it in this situation. For example, when I came home, she was watching that movie. So when I came home, so it's a short action, and she was watching that movie. It's a long action. So she was watching that movie. It's a long action, and then suddenly I came home. So it's short and long. So we use it for long actions. One more example. When he called me, I was driving a car. So I was driving. It's a long action, and then suddenly he called me. When he called me, I was driving a car. Was plus verb plus ing, was driving a car. Okay, next, had done. We use it for past perfect. So it's the time before past simple. Look, he said, and we form it this way: had plus done, or been is the third form of past participle. Had. You know that we call past participle. We call it past participle. He said that he had already done it, but he first he did it, and then he said it, So the second action happened earlier. The second action happened earlier. The second action, you see that the second action happened earlier. Yes? He said that he had already done it. So first he did, and then he said. Okay? Next, when she came home, I had already done my homework. So I did my homework, and then she came home. Okay, what is next? Have or has been doing is present perfect continuous. So something started in the past and it's still happening. Something started in the past and it's still happening, and it's still happening. We usually have time markers for or since. Look, I have been learning English for 5 years. It means I started learning English 5 years ago and I'm still learning it. I haven't finished doing it yet. Many students say I learned English for 5 years, but it isn't right, it isn't correct. Because this action, it started 5 years ago and it's still happening. You need to use present perfect continuous, so it's wrong. You need to use present perfect continuous here. I have been learning English for 5 years. Okay, so what is next? Yeah, it's past perfect continuous, had been doing. Look, let's look at the situation. When she came home, I had been doing my homework for 2 hours. Had been doing. It means, so I started doing my homework earlier. I started doing my homework earlier, and I was still doing it. And I was still doing it when she came. And I was still doing it, and I was still doing it when she came, and I was still doing it when she came. So if it's like past perfect, but there is duration for 2 hours. It's very important. It's like past perfect, but there is for 2 hours. So I started doing my homework earlier and I was still doing it when she came. Yeah, it's like past perfect, but there is for. Okay, so when she called me, I had been driving a car for 3 hours. So I started driving a car earlier, and then I was driving and he called me. Okay, next, if it's unreal for present, the first conditional. So we are talking about the future. So we talked about it that we use, if we have if and when, we use present simple. Look, if they help me, I'll be very glad. So you talk about the future, yeah, but you use present simple because it's a rule. If plus present simple, if or when plus present simple. Yeah, if plus present simple, and then you use future simple in the second part or in the second clause. Okay, what is second conditional? So we're talking about the present, but it's imaginary present, something unreal. So the structure is the following. Look, the structure is the following. If plus past simple and then would or could. For example, okay, let's look at some examples. It's very important to look at different examples. If I had $10 million, it means that I don't have $10 million. So I have less money. I don't have $10 million, but it's in my imagination. If I had, so you see, if plus past simple, if I had $10 million, I would give it to my present, to my parents. I would give it to my parents. Would plus verb, I would give it to my parents. Okay, so next. This structure, if I were you, it's also the second conditional. It means if I were in your place. If I were in your place. If I were in your place. We often use it when we want to give some advice. We want to give some advice. For example, if I were you, I would do the same. Yes, and one more important thing, that we use were in the second conditional, not was. So we can use was, but it sounds more formal. So if I were you, it's okay. So if I were you, I would do the same. If I were you, I would think about recording new video courses. Okay, next. If unreal for past, it's the third conditional. It's unreal, but in the past we use this structure. If plus past perfect. So what is past perfect? It had plus past participle. Okay? So if plus had plus past participle. And then you use would have plus past participle. Would have plus past participle. For example, if I had done it at that moment, but it's in my imagination, I didn't do it in reality. If I had done it at the moment, then you use would have, I would have, and past participle. I would have earned lots of money. But in fact, I didn't earn this money because I didn't do it. Yeah. And one more example. You see, if I had taken that exam, I would have failed it. I had taken had plus past participle and would have plus past participle. But in fact, I didn't take that exam, and I didn't fail it. Okay, next, mixed conditional. If mixed conditional. Look at this situation. If I had studied English at school or university, so it's unreal about the past. It's unreal about the past. Yes, conditional free. I would know it very well, and it is unreal about the present. Unreal about the past, had plus past participle, And unreal about the present in the second conditional, it's would plus verb. I would know it very well. So very interesting structure. Next, wish. It's, we often call it the second conditional to, the second conditional. So I wish for present. I wish plus past simple. For example, I wish I had $10 million, but in fact, it's in my imagination. I don't have this money. I wish I lived in America, but I don't live in America. I live in another country. So I wish I lived in America. Or maybe someone can say, I wish I knew English perfectly. I wish I knew English. I wish I knew English perfectly. But it's difficult. It's really difficult. Just a wish. Okay? And it can be the same in the past. So I wish. And when we talk about the past, we use past perfect. It's the third conditional. It's the third conditional. Look, I wish I hadn't failed the exam. It's just my wish, but I failed it. I wish I had found your channel much earlier, but I didn't find it. So it's my wish. Okay, next, if only. So it's only. We often refer it to the second conditional, conditional, this structure. If only, it means I wish. It means I wish, but you wish it very strongly. 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 Look, if only I knew the right answer. If only and past simple if it's unreal in the present. If only I knew the right answer. Or I wish I knew the right answer. I wish I knew the right answer. But this structure, if only, it sounds stronger. So, if only I knew the right answer. Or I wish I knew the right answer. If only I were a millionaire. It means I wish I were a millionaire, but this wish is very strong. This wish is very strong. And if you want to use the structure, talking about the past, you need, we call it conditional free. So we refer it to the third conditional. So you need to use if only plus past perfect. And what is past perfect? What is past perfect? It had plus past participle or the third form. Look, if only I had passed that test. It means that, in fact, it's just in your imagination, in my imagination. I didn't pass it, but it's my wish. It's a very strong wish. I can also say, I wish I had passed. I wish I had passed that test. This structure is very similar, but this structure is stronger. Okay? So if only I had found your channel much earlier. The same you can say, I wish I had found your channel much earlier. Okay, it's a very interesting structure. Next, used to do. Used to do. Look, I used to go jogging almost every day. So we use it for something which you did it in the past. You did it. So it was in the past. It was in the past, but it isn't now. It isn't now. It isn't now. It was in the past, but it isn't now. So I used to go jogging almost every day. It means that I went jogging almost every day. I went jogging almost every day, but I'm not doing it. But I'm not doing it now. But I'm not doing it now. Okay, so I used to learn Chinese, really. I used to learn Chinese. I learned Chinese earlier. I learned Chinese earlier, but I'm not doing it now. But I'm not doing it now. But I'm not doing it now. Yes, that's true. Yeah, I teach you here on YouTube. So it takes time, you understand. Okay, be or get used to doing. Okay, look at the structures. I'm used to doing it, or I got used to do it, or you know that it means that it's okay for you. It's okay. It's okay for you. It's okay. It's okay for you. And it became normal after some time. It became normal. It became normal. It became normal after some time. It became normal after some time. Okay? Okay, so more examples. I'm used to teaching English on YouTube, so maybe it was difficult for me in the beginning, but then it was okay. I really think that's a great idea. Next, I got used to teaching English very intensely, so it was okay for me. It was okay for me after some time. Next, if and whether we use it in reported or indirect speech. Look, is it alright for you? So, yes or no, we can say yes, no. So if the answer is yes or no, so when we want to say it in reported speech, she asked me, we need to say if or whether. Yeah, she asked me if it was alright for me, or whether it was alright for me or not. She asked whether, or she asked me whether it was alright for me or not. Yeah, so two variants. The first variant, she asked me if it was alright for me, and the second variant is whether. But you know that we often use whether with or not. She asked me whether it was alright for me or not. Okay, the weather is fine, really, the weather is fine. Okay, next. So, let somebody do something. I didn't let him go out. I didn't let him go out. It means I told him not to go out. I told him not to go out. I didn't let him go out, so we don't use to. My parents didn't let me play computer games. They told me not to play computer games. Next, make somebody do something. They made me study very hard. They made me study very hard. It means that I studied very hard. I studied very hard because of them. I studied very hard because of them. I'll make you learn English. So you learn English, you learn English, you learn English, you learn English because of me, and I'll try to do it. And I'll try to do it. So, and I studied very hard because of them, so they tried to do it. Okay? Next. The next structure is to be made to do something. Yes, so in this structure, you have to use to. Look, I was made to learn that text by heart. So someone told me, or someone forced me to do it. Someone forced me to do it. So in this structure, don't forget to use to. I was made to learn that text by heart. He was made to do his homework. So someone told him to do it, so someone forced him to do it. Next, must have. So you know the verb must, you must have a high English level. Talking about the past, you say he must have made a mistake. It means maybe he made a mistake. Maybe he made a mistake. You must have said it correctly. It means maybe you said it correctly. Okay, I must do it and I had to do it. So must for the past, it's had to. I had to do it. I had to do it. But if you want to say, if you want, actually to talk about the meaning, maybe use must have. Must have, it has another meaning. It means maybe. So, not maybe, maybe, look, he must have made a mistake. So I think, it means that I think, or like I'm sure, I'm sure he made a mistake. So I'm almost sure. I'm almost sure he made a mistake. You must have said it correctly. So I think you said it correctly, or I'm almost sure you said it correctly. Yes. So it's another meaning. It's about probability. Probability. It's about probability. And then I must do it and I had to do it. So the past form of must, had to. But if you are talking about probability, you say must have plus past participle. Must have plus past participle. Okay? Next. So the same thing, should have. Should have for the past. You should have done it yesterday. So should in the past, should have done. You should have done it yesterday. It's should for the past. For the past. You should have plus past participle. Should have plus past participle. Plus past participle. Okay, you should have followed my advice. So really it was a good idea for you to do it. Ought to have, the same thing. Ought to have plus past participle. You ought to have found another job. You ought to have done everything perfectly. And may or might have in the past. He may have come late. She might have gone there. She might have gone there. Next, would have, the same thing. I would have done it earlier. It means I would have done it, or I could. Yes, I could have done it earlier. I would have listened to him. Okay? Next, as well as. I want to know English as well as you. It means like you. It means like you. I want to know English like you. I want to speak Spanish as well as him. It means that I want to speak Spanish like him. So he knows Spanish well, and I also want to know Spanish well. So he knows Spanish well, and I also want to know Spanish well, and I also want to know Spanish well. Okay, next. Both and. Both Kate and Nick like this game. So two people. So they both like this game. Two people or two things. I like both meat and fish. I like both meat and fish. Okay. Next, either or, neither nor, or either or, neither nor. It means or. So there is a choice. Either he or she will do it. One of them, it means one of them will do it. One of them will do it. Neither he nor she will not do it. It means, so he will not do it. He will not do it. He will not do it. And she will not do it. And she will not do it. Okay? Alright, so next, let's look at passive voice. Passive voice. Okay? Passive voice and present simple. Present simple passive. So look, the formation is the following. be done, it means am is the form to be, am is are, plus done or plus past participle, it's the first form, plus past participle. Look, it is made in China. It is made in China. It is produced in Italy. So we use it if things are done by someone. Look, it is made in China. It is made in China by someone or by some factory maybe. It is produced in Italy by some people, by someone. So, and in this case we use passive voice, the structure. It is made in China, it is produced in Italy. Is plus past participle, it is made. Is plus past participle, it is produced. Okay, so we can use it for past simple. So past simple passive was, were, plus done, plus past participle can be done, seen, made, produced. For example, it was made in China. It was produced in Italy. It was produced in Italy. Okay, next, future simple passive. Future simple passive. Future simple passive will be done. It will be made in China, will be plus past participle. It will be made in China, it will be produced in Italy. Okay, present continuous passive. Present continuous passive. Present continuous. Okay, present continuous passive. Present continuous passive. Continuous. Present continuous passive. Present continuous passive is am, are, plus been, plus done, or plus past participle. It is been made in China now. So if it's happening now, and if it's been done by someone, you use the form to be is plus, continuous. Okay, look, is been past participle. It has been made in China. It has been made in China now. It is being produced. It has been produced. It has been produced in Italy now. You know that we talked about present continuous, as you remember. I hope that you remember that we talked about different tenses. We talked about different tenses, and we also talked about present continuous. I think that it's a good idea for you, to watch this course several times. It's very good for revision, so I think that it's okay that I'm talking to you while I'm looking for this slide, because really there are so many slides and it's sometimes difficult to find it. Okay, but let me go on. So I think it's okay. So, and I think it's a good idea for you to revise it, to watch this video course several times. So if it's also a good idea, for you to take some notes. And if you support this idea, we can make more videos about grammar, on grammar, and we can also make a playlist on grammar. So just let me know, and we can do it. And I also think that we need to include some exercise in these videos and do them together. So you can do it first by yourself, and then we can check it. Okay, you know that there are so many slides, and actually I didn't find it what I was looking for, but it's okay. It's okay. So we can go on. So it has been produced in Italy now. Okay, next. So past perfect. Oh no, past continuous, past continuous, past continuous passive, past continuous passive. The same structure, was, were, been, done. It was being made in China. Was, been, plus past participle. It was being made in China. It's a long process. Yeah, we use past continuous for a long process. It was being produced in Italy. And then let's look at one situation, because I think it's a good idea to learn English grammar in context. But you know, don't think that it's only English grammar, so you can also use all these structures in speaking, in conversation, so it's okay. So when I came to the meeting, those problems were being discussed. So look, there are two actions. So one action is long, so they were discussing, and then suddenly I came. But it can be said in passive voice. Those problems were being discussed. The problems were being discussed by someone. They were being discussed, and someone came. So this action interrupted the second one. Okay, you can also use, you know, present perfect passive, have or has been done, and keep in mind, please, some time markers such as already, just. We use present perfect if you have them, so they have already been punished. They have been punished, and already we put it in the middle. They have already been punished. Yeah, yes, it's have been done, or we can use has for he, she, it. This problem hasn't been solved yet. Okay, hasn't been and past participle, hasn't been solved yet. We put yet at the end of the sentence. What about had been done? It's passive voice, but it's past perfect passive. This action happened before another action. You remember? I hope so. He said that the problem had already been solved. So first, someone solved the problem, and then he said it. So there are two actions. So we see the past in the first part or in the first clause, and we see the past in the second clause. But the second action, it happened earlier. Okay, very good. Okay, and let's go on. Be able. Be able, it's another way of saying can. So you can say he can help us, or he is able to help us. You need to use the form to be, am, is, or are, plus able to do something. But we mostly use and we mostly meet can. But if you meet, you know, able, just I think that you know it. He is able to help us. They can do it. It means they are able to do it. So sometimes you can meet it, but we mostly meet can. Okay, we can also say it in past simple, and you know that we often use this structure in past simple, was or were able. So you can say I could help them, or I was able to help them. So when do we use could do something, and when do we use was able to do something? You know that if it's once, we often use was able. If it was once, or if it was one time, we often use this structure. I mean, structure was or were able. So I could help them, and I was able to help them. So it's one time. So that's the difference. So people say so. Okay, next, and it's possible to say it in the future, because you know that can is for present. But can in the future, it will be able. Can in the future, it will be able. Look, I'll be able to help you. Don't worry. Will be able, or we can use a short form. I'll be able to double our sales. to double. So they'll be twice bigger. Twice bigger, 2 times bigger. Okay, next, before and after. So we talked about one thing, that if you have if, when, you use present simple, but there is a longer list of these verbs. So before and after. So after these words you use present simple. Use present simple, but you talk about the future. So you talk about the future, but you use present simple. Look, I'll do it before he leaves home. So we talk about the future, but we use present simple. Why? Because there is this rule that we use present simple after if, when, before, and after. I'll do it after she comes back, or after she returns. And please don't forget to use as. I know that students often forget about it. Next, there are other words: as soon as, and in case, Look, as soon as and in case, we also use present simple after them when we talk about the future. Look, as soon as she arrives, the meeting will begin. As soon as she arrives, the meeting will begin. In case he refuses to help us, we'll try to do something about it. So in case means if. If he refuses to help us, we'll try to do something about it. And as soon as she arrives means when. When she arrives, the meeting will begin immediately. The meeting will begin immediately. Okay, the next structure, look forward to. It means to wait for something or someone with impatience. To wait for something or someone with impatience. You really want to happen it. You really want to happen it. You really want to happen it. Okay? So, you see, look forward to something, or look forward to doing something. It's a very important thing. Look forward to doing. Look forward to doing something. Look forward to doing something. Look forward to doing something. Very important. It's a very important structure. So wait for something, someone with impatience, so you really want to happen it. Look, I look forward to your comments and likes. Really, thanks a lot for your comments. Thanks a lot for your likes. I look forward to your huge support. I really wait for it. I really need it. I look forward to your reply. So we can meet this phrase, in different letters at the end of the letter, at the end of, the messages, but usually we meet it in letters. I look forward to your reply. I look forward to going on holiday. You see, look forward to doing something. Verb plus ing. I look forward to going on holiday. It means that I really want to go on holiday. I really want it to happen. Okay, so what is next? Would rather. It means, look, or we can use a short form, I'd rather do it later. I'd rather do it later. It means that I prefer to do it later. I prefer to do it later. I prefer to do it later. I prefer to do it later, or I wanted to do it later. I prefer, or I want to do it later. You know that there are different structures, and you need to know what this structure means. Okay, so I'd rather do it later. I prefer to do it later. I want to do it later. You'd rather stay at home. It means that I think it's a good idea for you to stay at home. I think it's a good idea for you. It's a good idea for you to stay at home. I give some advice. I give some advice. I give some advice. All right, so next, would sooner. It's also about things which you prefer to do. I would sooner do another thing. It's again, I prefer to do another thing. I prefer, I want to do another thing. So, and I want to do it soon. I want to do it soon. I would sooner help her as soon as possible. It's urgent. So you really wanted, yeah, you wanted to do it first. Okay? Next, had better. It's the same thing, prefer. It's about giving some advice. Yeah, giving some advice. Or giving some advice. Giving some advice. So I can say, you should listen to me. You should listen to me. Or I can also say, I think it's a good idea for you to listen to me. I think it's a good idea. It's a good idea for you. I think it's a good idea for you to listen to me. I can also say, listen to me. Listen to me. Okay? Listen to me. Or you must listen to me. But these sentences, it's it can sound rude. It can sound rude and impolite. 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 Yeah, this we often meet these structures, should, and I think it's a good idea for you to listen to me. But you'd better, it's also a good structure. So it's polite. It's given some advice. It's polite. It's polite. So you'd better listen to me. You'd better listen to me. No, yeah, but must can sound rude, and this comment can sound rude. But it's some advice. You'd better look for another job. You'd better look for another job. So I think it's better for you. It's better for you. It's better for you to do it. Okay, so next. Would prefer. We often hear a short form, I'd prefer to drink a cup of green tea. It means that I prefer, but it's a polite way. I'd prefer to study with you. Means I prefer to study with you, but it sounds polite. It sounds polite. Okay, next. Yeah, this structure is difficult. Hardly had, when, no sooner than. Look, hardly had, I come home, so you need to use, look, hardly had, and then you use past participle. Or the third form, so you look, hardly had I, then past participle, hardly had I come home when they greeted me. It means that I came home and then they greeted me immediately. I came home and they greeted me immediately. And they greeted me immediately. It's about immediate actions. Look, no sooner, the same thing. No sooner had plus past participle but we need to use then. So we use when with hardly had, and we use then with no sooner. Look, no sooner had plus past participle, no sooner had I come home, then they greeted me. It's the same meaning. I came home and then they greeted me immediately. Okay, next. Don't you, don't we, don't you, don't they, don't I. So it's a negative form of present simple. So present simple questions. So about present simple questions, negative form. Negative form. So we start with don't, with you, we, you, they, I. Don't you understand? Don't you know how to say it? Don't you know how to translate it? So it can be with doesn't if you have he, she, it. Doesn't he, doesn't she, doesn't it? Doesn't she live in Moscow? Doesn't he work with you? Doesn't he work with you? Next. If you have the verb to be, you use, if you have the verb to be, or if there is no verb in the sentence, I think that you remember it. If there is no verb, in the sentence, you in present simple, you use the form of the verb to be. You use the form of the verb to be. Use the form of the verb to be. Yeah? Aren't you, aren't we, aren't they? Aren't you happy? Aren't we the best friends? Aren't they with us? And isn't he, isn't she, isn't it? Isn't he at home? Isn't she at work? Isn't it interesting? And am I not or aren't I? Yeah, am I not and aren't I is a short form. Am I not the best student or aren't I? Aren't I the best student? Aren't I the best student? Okay, let's talk about future simple and a negative form in questions. So we asked, won't you, won't he, won't she, won't you come? Won't you help us? Won't you go to England? So it can be in present perfect, haven't you or hasn't he. Then you use past participle. And then you use past participle and use past participle. Haven't you done it yet? Haven't you done it yet? Haven't you finished your homework yet? Okay. Next, how about and what about? We often use it in spoken English when really we speak English in daily English conversations. How about and what about? How about and what about something? Or if you use a verb, if you use a verb or if there is a verb in a sentence, so you say how about or what about. How about or what about doing something? Doing something. So you need to use ing after a verb. Look, how about going to the cinema? Or what about going to the cinema? So this question sounds natural. So you suggest that you go. You suggest that you go to the cinema. Okay? You suggest going. You suggest going. You suggest doing it. You suggest doing it, or you suggest going to the cinema. Or, for example, what about going to the party? I'm sure it will be fantastic. Okay, next. As for me, I like English. As for me, so talking about yourself. So when you talk about yourself, and you want talking about yourself, and you want to emphasize it. You want to emphasize it. You want to emphasize it. Okay, so as for me, I like English. Yeah, you can say I like English, it's okay, but if you want to emphasize it, you can say as for me, I like English. So it's your opinion, it's your idea, it's your experience. As for me, I'm fond of sport. As for me, I like learning foreign languages. Okay? Okay, so you can say as for me, or there is a similar structure as far as I'm concerned. It means as for me, as for me, as far as I'm concerned, I think the same. As far as I'm concerned, I share your point of view. I've heard this structure many times. Next, as far as something is concerned. So you can say as for me, as for him, as for them, or you can say, for example, as far as something is concerned. So as far as this offer is concerned, I think it's very interesting. Or as for this offer, as for this offer, as for something, it means as for something or someone. So as far as this offer is concerned, I think it's very interesting. Okay, so as far as this video is concerned, I think it's really a very good video. It's really a very good video. Next, future continuous, will be doing. So it's a long action in the future. Long action in the future, in the future. We often use it in this context. I will be waiting for you. It means that really I'll be waiting for you. It's very important for me. So I'll be waiting for you. I'll be waiting for your reply. We often use it in this context. I'll be waiting for you. I'll be waiting for your reply. So when you say goodbye to someone, you can say that we'll be waiting for you. We'll be waiting for you. We'll be waiting for your answer. We'll be waiting for your reply. Next, future perfect. Will have, done. So what's the difference between future simple and future perfect? So the difference is very small. So if you see by, or if you want to use by some time in the future, by some time in the future, you use future simple. Will have, use future perfect, will have plus done, will have plus past participle, will have done. Look, compare. I will finish this project next year. I will finish this project. I will finish this project next year, and I will have finished this project by next year. You see by, so you use will have plus past participle, will have finished. I will have finished this project by next year. Okay, so next, will have been doing something. It's the same thing. The difference between future simple, future perfect, and future continuous isn't big. It's easy to understand. So in most cases we use future simple. We use future perfect and future perfect continuous quite rarely, so it means not often. So future perfect, use future perfect if you have by some time in the future, and future perfect continuous by some time in the future and for some period of time. So two things. Look, I will have been working on this project for 2 years by next year. So by next year, this is an element of future perfect, and for, so for and by, these are elements of future perfect continuous. Future perfect continuous. Well done. Next, be2. Be2, it's a modal verb, so many people think that it's a modal verb, right? And you see that, let's look at the sentence. The president was to arrive there. It means that was going to arrive, or had to arrive. It had to arrive. So it means must or have to, but it's formal. So the president was going to arrive there. The president had to arrive there, but it's formal. But it's formal. It sounds formal. Okay? It was to take place at that time. It means it's formal. It was going to take place, or it had to take place. But most people think that it's have to. It means have to or must, but formal. So have to or must, but formal. Have to or must, but formal. Okay, so we can see be about or just about. It's we use it about things which are going to happen, soon. We use it about things. Which are going to happen soon. He's about to come. It means he'll come soon. He's just about to come. So it's the same thing, but it's stronger. It's the same thing, but it's stronger. Okay, he's just about to come. It's stronger. He was just about to visit them. It means that he was going to visit them quite soon. Okay, next, doing something. So many people use this structure because we often meet it. So doing this homework, I can't say that I feel tired. It means that I do this homework, or when I do this homework, yeah, and I can't say that I feel tired. So it's just one structure. Doing this homework, for example, learning English with you, I feel great progress. Or I can say it another way, I learn English with you and I feel great progress. Okay, good. Or it can be in the past, having done something. So having drunk a cup of tea, I went out. It means that I drank a cup of tea, and then I went out. So I drank a cup of tea and then I went out. Having drunk a cup of tea, I went out. Okay, so next, may or might. I will do it, so it's future simple. Okay, and you can hear I may do it or I might do it. It means maybe. It means maybe I'll do it. She may come or she might come. Maybe she will come. Maybe she will come. He may agree or he might agree with you. So it's the same thing. Maybe he will agree with you. Okay, so next, be allowed to. So we can use it in present simple. Am, is, are allowed to. Look, he isn't allowed to leave home. It means that other people or someone doesn't let him leave home. He can't do it. Because of someone. He can't do it because of someone. Okay, I'm not allowed to play computer games all day. So I can't do it because of someone. And we can use it in the past simple, was, were, and then we, add allowed to. For example, I wasn't allowed to talk to him. It means that I couldn't do it because of someone. Next, comparative forms. Comparative forms. Oh no, it isn't comparative forms. It's I looked at another slide. So have to, don't have to, and doesn't have to. Look, have to means must. Look, I have to get up very early, or I must get up very early. I have to go to work almost every day, or I must go to work every day. But have to, so you need to do it, you need to do it, you need to do it. But maybe you don't want it. But maybe you don't want it. But maybe you don't want it. You can't change it. You can't change it. You can't change it. Look. But maybe you can't change it. Look, I have to get up very early. So you must do it, but maybe you don't want. Maybe you don't want to get up very early, but you must do it because of something or because of something. So I have to go to work almost every day. Maybe you don't want to go to work, but you have no choice. You have no choice and you do it. So use have to. He has to wear school uniform. So, maybe he doesn't want it, but he has no choice. He must do it. So he has to wear school uniform. Okay, sometimes we can meet don't have to. Don't have to has another meaning. It has another meaning. I don't have to get up early. It means that I don't need. Don't have to means don't need to. Don't have to means don't need to. Don't need to. Okay, so you see, I don't have to get up early. I start working late. It means that you start working late, and why do you need to get up early? You can sleep more. Okay, let's look at the next example. She doesn't have to work. She is very rich. Really, she's very rich. She has lots of money. Why does she need to work? And you can say she doesn't have to work or she doesn't need to work. She is very rich. Yeah, and next, yeah. So comparative forms. Comparative forms. So we often hear more than, or we add er than. Look, this book is more interesting than that one. Is more interesting. So this book is more interesting than that one. Please remember this structure. More plus adjective. More plus adjective. More plus adjective. And we often use it. We often use more before long adjective. Before long adjectives. Before long adjectives. Look, the book is more interesting. So interesting is a long adjective. It has more for more than 2 syllables. For more than 2 syllables. For example, long, it's 1 syllable. Long is 1 syllable. It has interesting. It has more than 2 syllables. So more interesting than that one. Look. This video lesson is more informative than that one. So informative is a long adjective and you use more informative than the last one. Okay? Yeah, long is a short adjective and you often use this thing. So adjective plus er, usually it's a short adjectives. Short adjectives. Look, this video is longer. Long plus er. This video is longer than that one. Next. Your room is bigger than hers. Your room is bigger than. Your room is bigger than hers. Okay. And superlative form. Superlative form. The most or the and then est, and this is the same thing. So if you have a long adjective, it's the most, so long adjective. So usually we use this rule, long adjective. And if it's a short adjective, use the and est at the end of the sentence, short adjective. Okay, so look, it's the most beautiful place. It's the most beautiful place. It's the longest river. It's the longest river in the world. It's the longest river in the world. The longest. So look, this adjective is long, so the most beautiful place in the world. This adjective is short, so the longest river in the world. But as you know, there are some exceptions. Yes, exceptions. You must remember, for example, these exceptions: good, better, the best. Some people think that he is the best teacher. Bad, worse, the worst. It was the worst example. It was the worst example. Okay, so next, the next structure. Do you mind? So, do you mind if I close the window? It means if it's, is it okay? Is it okay? Do you mind? Or is it okay? Is it all right? Is it okay? Is it okay if I close the window? Do you mind if I open the door? Or would you mind? But remember that you say, would you mind doing something? Would you mind doing something? Would you mind closing the door? It means, would you mind closing the door? Would you mind opening the window? So it's a similar structure. Next, so do I. I like this game. So you can say me too, or so do I. So do I. So you agree. You agree, so you agree using this phrase. So do I. So do I. Next, there is a very popular structure. It is said. It's passive voice. It's passive voice, present simple. It's passive voice, present simple. It is said that he is rich. It means that other people say that he is very rich. It is believed that this way of thinking is right. It means that other people believe this way of thinking is right. Далее, is that. So look, the thing is that I don't agree with him. So you explain it. What I mean is that we need to find another alternative. So what I mean means it's very good structures. The thing is that. What I mean is that. What I want to say is that. Okay, so what I mean is that we need to find another alternative. What I want to say is that we study English from time to time. It isn't enough. Interested in. So, for example, you want to talk about your hobbies, and you can say, I'm interested in something. I'm interested in this kind of music. I'm interested in science. What are you interested in? What are your hobbies? What do you like doing in your free time? What do you like doing in your free time? Okay, so next. It takes me, for example, it takes me 2 hours to get to work. So it means that you spent this time on your way. You spent this time on your way. So it takes me 2 hours to get to work. You spend this time on your way. Okay, I want you to do something. I want you to speak English perfectly. So it's my wish. So if you speak English perfectly, I will be happy. I will be really happy. It's my greatest dream. Okay? I want you to learn English. I want you to learn English. I want you to learn English. I want you to know all these grammar structures. I want you to know all these grammar structures. I want you to know all these grammar structures. Next, I like it when. I like it when they praise me. So I don't know why, but there is one very common mistake. So many students say, I like when they praise me, but please remember this structure, I like it when. Don't forget to use it. I like it when they praise me. I like it when I feel real progress. Okay? Why don't you? Why don't you? So it's a negative form, but in questions, why don't you watch my videos more often? I think it's a good idea for you to do it. And I want to know why you don't do it. Why don't you agree with me? I want to know why you don't agree with me. Okay, the same as. So you can say, we think the same. It means that we have the same ideas, or we have the same ideas, or we have the same idea, or the same as me. He thinks the same as me. For example, he knows English. He knows English. He knows English the same as me. The same as me. We have one level. We have one level. He knows English the same as me. We have one level. Next, much more. This video course is much more interesting. You can say this video course is more interesting, but if you want to make it stronger, you want to make it stronger, if you want to emphasize it, if you want to emphasize it, if you want to emphasize it, use much more interesting. These examples are much better. You can say these examples are better, but these examples are much better, you know, it has a stronger meaning. Next, the least. This book is the least interesting for me. So I hope that you remember little, less, the least. So, the most, it means very good. So much more, the most, and the least, it means that this book isn't interesting for me at all. This book isn't interesting, this book isn't interesting for me at all. This book isn't interesting for me at all. Okay. It means I don't like it at all. I don't want to open it and I don't want to read it. Next, under no circumstances. It's we use inversion. We use inversion after it. The opposite word order. The opposite word order. Look. Under no circumstances will I accept this offer. So you can say, I will accept this offer if you want to accept it. If you don't want it, you say, under no circumstances, and then you change the word order. You put will before I. Under no circumstances will I accept his offer. Or you can also use no way will I do it. So it's a similar meaning. Not only but also. It's also inversion. Not only do I teach English, the opposite word order. Not only do I teach English, but I also work as a sales manager. Okay, next. There are some important things, or there is some important information about very and absolutely. Look, this idea is very good, but there are strong adjectives. There are strong adjectives. There are strong adjectives. There are strong adjectives. And we use absolutely. We use absolutely with them. So, what is a strong adjective? For example, wonderful. You can say this idea is wonderful. But it's a strong adjective, and you can't say this idea is very wonderful. You need to say this idea is absolutely wonderful, or it's an absolutely wonderful idea, or it was an absolutely fantastic party. So you need to use absolutely with strong adjectives. Okay, never. So you know that sometimes we can use an inversion after never. We need to use the opposite word order too. Never will I go there. Never will I go there. We have the same situation with seldom and rarely. Look, seldom do I study English. I don't have free time at all. Rarely does she visit her grandmother. And I think that you need to know some useful phrases. For example, to sum up, you can say it at the end of a conversation or at the end of your talk. To sum up, really, to sum up, it means in conclusion. In conclusion, I'd like to thank you for watching. You can watch this video course again and again. I hope we had a great time together. Thanks a lot and good luck, my friends. See you. Bye.